Family Finance Friday. I am going to apologize right off the bat, as I put in the notes. For some reason, I am unable to add a new post on my website, which is usually where I end up putting the attachments for these lessons because Facebook only allows you to do one at a time. And so usually I do it in the website, and that way I can just link to it. You can go over there, grab the stuff that you need, and go to it. So I apologize up front for that. As soon as I'm able to do that, I will upload it and get that link over here so you can enjoy. Geez, I put a lot of work into that check register and bank statement. So I want you to be able to enjoy it. So what we did this week, as we saw from the poll this week and a little bit of what I talked about yesterday, is balancing your checkbook. And whether you call it, most people call it balancing your checkbook. I know, when you have an accounting background, you talk about reconciliation, so you reconcile your bank statement. Either way you look at it, if you're a small business owner, you probably reconcile your bank statement for your business and balance your personal checkbook. It's all the same thing. So whether you are in business and trying to reconcile that bank statement and making sure that it matches what's in your checkbook register, or if you're doing this for your personal finances, same thing, making sure that your checkbook and your bank agree. This is a great tool to know. And this is one of those things that, they always say, I wish, they would have taught me how to, balance my checkbook in school, and they didn't, da da da. So here we are. We're learning how to do it. No more excuses. Hey, Mo, welcome. I'm so glad you're able to catch on today. You're always so busy. And I know Morgan knows how to balance her checkbook because, just because she's Morgan. So anyways, what you will see when you are able to open the attachments is I did create a very basic checkbook register for someone who doesn't have a whole lot. They actually have, I love it. I set it up so they have a mortgage, they have some insurance, a car payment, and they have a horse. So they do riding lessons, and I think most of the expenses are for the horse. I think they pay more for the horse than they do for their mortgage, which is just how it is, right? So anyway, so you will see that basic checkbook. It does start in towards the end of October, goes through November, and then goes into the beginning of December, because as we all know, when we balance our checkbook or reconcile to the bank statement, it generally is not on the first of the month. So usually you do have some expenses that, things that you bought the month previous that, came through the bank on the current month. And then you have things that you bought in the current month that go into the following month. And also, it's because it's never the first, you always have a few, the first few days of the month that are usually in your checkbook or your check register when you are doing your reconciliation or balancing. Morgan asks, is there a reason to still balance your finances if you check your checking account and such daily? Well, yes and no. So, and that's actually one thing I was actually laughing as I did this, because I'm like, a check register is so old school. But you basically are doing the same thing when you do an electronic format. Like, I have my checkbook in Excel, and I usually balance it every few days, once or twice a week. I go in there, I see what's come on, I X off, that things have been received, and then I make sure that ending balance agrees with the bank statement. Now, you still have the same principles though, because even though, I'm doing it through such and such a date, it is very common for there to be things that I have purchased that have not gone through the bank yet, especially if you pay by check. But even sometimes, even if it's an automatic payment, you could have a credit card where it's expected to come through on the 15th, and it may not actually come through until the 17th, 18th, 19th. And so, or your insurance payments, even though they're automatically set up to pay, it may not come through right away. So you may have a date on there that is past today's date, it's an older date, but it has not yet cleared the bank. And so these principles still apply. So that's a great question, Morgan. I'm glad you brought that up. So these principles will still apply whether you're doing this old school on a paper bank check register, or if you're doing it electronically in an Excel spreadsheet. Now, if all you're doing is just going in and checking your account, you need to be careful with that, because if you're just going and saying, hey, I have money, that's great. However, if you forget that you bought something, you could easily find yourself in a negative balance. So you have to be a little careful while you're doing it. It's going in there and saying, oh yeah, there's my balance, looks good, move on. Okay? So great question, Morgan. Thank you, thank you. So after you see that checkbook register, you'll also see I have a PDF. I have two PDFs. One is the actual bank statement, and the other one is the answer key. And so in the bank statement, just like you would see in real life, if you get a paper statement, you will see that it has the deposits that were made. It has the beginning balance, the ending balance, the deposits that were made, and the withdrawals that were made from the account. And so this will allow whoever's going in and balancing that checkbook, whether it's a teen, yourself, whoever, to go through and check everything off. And then at the very bottom, there's the reconciliation, where it shows, it starts with the beginning balance and then goes to the, outstanding deposits, which is deposits that have not cleared the bank yet. And then outstanding checks, which is, any payments, or actually I think it's outstanding withdrawals, but there'd be any checks that haven't cleared yet, any direct deposits that haven't, direct withdrawals, ACHs, whatever. If they haven't cleared the bank yet, they go on that outstanding one. And remember that when you're doing this, you have to stop at the end of the month. So even though the check register goes into December, you have to remember to go by what the amount is on that November 30th date, or the last transaction in November. And then it does, and it walks you through. I actually put A, B, C, D, so you can see very easily how to add, subtract, what needs to be added together, what needs to be subtracted out, etc., etc. So at the very end, hopefully you have a variance or difference of 0, which means that everything balances, you reconcile, and you're good to go. So if there are no other questions, then I will once again apologize for this not being ready to go right now, but it will be available soon, so please come back and look for this. And I will see you all next week for another Family Finance Friday. And if you have any ideas, anything you want to cover, let me know. Once again, because this one is, it does have addition, subtraction. So it really is something that almost anyone, maybe not the youngest kids, but anyone who can add and subtract up to 4 numbers into the thousands, that they can do this, even if it's just as a math exercise, even if they are too young to really understand the concept of reconciliations, they can still do this. But for the older ones, this is a great skill to learn. So thank you. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you later. Enjoy your weekends.